The real truth about Mia Khalifa is substantially different from the widely circulated narratives that most people repeat without verification. Her name became linked to a particular identity because of a brief period of work that lasted only a few months. Yet online platforms magnified that short involvement until it overshadowed every other detail about her life. This amplification happened not because of her ongoing participation, but because digital algorithms continuously recycled the same material for years, keeping it visible long after she stopped working in the industry. As a result, many individuals assumed she had a long, extensive career, even though the actual timeline was extremely short. The misunderstanding persists because people rarely check original sources, relying instead on viral posts, social commentary, and repeated misinformation that became accepted as fact through constant repetition. In various interviews, she clarified that the earnings she received during that period were minimal compared to the enormous revenue generated by websites hosting her content. Despite this, the public built an image of her as someone who benefited extensively, even though she had no ownership rights or long-term control over the distributed material. This difference between perception and reality is a major part of her story. Online fame does not always match financial gain, and internet visibility often continues long after a person has moved on to unrelated fields. When she attempted to shift into sports analysis, business projects, and general social media content creation, the internet continued to frame her through the same outdated lens, preventing her from establishing a new professional identity. This situation demonstrates how digital permanence works. Once content is published and indexed by major platforms, it becomes nearly impossible to remove or fully separate from. Even after leaving the industry, Mia encountered ongoing harassment, privacy violations, and threats, driven by strangers who knew only the viral version of her story rather than the factual one. These reactions reflected how online environments create fixed narratives that follow individuals indefinitely, regardless of personal growth or career changes. Her experience illustrates the long-term effects of algorithm-driven identity shaping, where search engines, automated recommendations, and content reposting create a continuous loop that reinforces the same image repeatedly. Her statements over the years highlight how individuals can lose control over their digital presence, especially when early mistakes or brief decisions become permanently stored online. She has pointed out how the industry provided little support, how content continued to spread without her consent, and how the public lacked awareness of how little agency performers had regarding long-term distribution. She has also noted that many people misunderstand her background, motivations, and life circumstances, creating assumptions based on limited information. Overall, the real truth about her situation is not centered on scandal or controversy. It is a case study in how digital reputations are formed, how misinformation spreads quickly, and how difficult it becomes to modify public perception once a narrative reaches global scale. It shows how a short moment can become a permanent online identity, how personal autonomy can be reduced by algorithmic circulation, and how the internet can maintain a fixed version of a person long after they have moved in a different direction. Her story demonstrates the disconnect between what people think they know and what actually occurred, emphasizing that most viral narratives are built from fragments, assumptions, and repeated errors rather than complete, accurate information.